Alright, before we get started, I do want to say this really quickly. So this is the last time I'm going to cover a Call of Duty news article here on this channel. From now on, all of these are going to be going up on Optimus Games. Usually my Call of Duty content, like my reviews, my videos talking about the updates and stuff like that, all go up over there anyways. But usually all of the ones where I review like the news articles and stuff like that go up here on this channel because I feel like that it fits in with the content on this channel more. But from now on, I'm going to be putting them over there on that channel because I feel like, honestly, that channel is pretty much like a Minecraft and Call of Duty channel. It probably does fit in over there a little bit more, so these are going to be going up over there. If you want to continue to see these, which I'm sure, you know, because the media loves to keep complaining about this game when there's not issues, there will be some more of these coming in the near future, so if you would like to see more of these and you're not subscribed to that channel, the link will be at the top of the description. Anyways, let's go forward with this video. So, I wasn't going to talk about this because I figured that it would be gone as an issue within a couple of days. I first saw something about this like 5 or 6 days ago now, and I saw it and I was like, okay, it's like one person saying something about it. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It seemed really stupid. It didn't make much sense. I was like, this is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. You guys have probably seen the Modern Warfare multiplayer reveal and whatnot by now. They revealed all the kill streaks and whatnot for the game, and one of them is white phosphorus. And that has caused a decent amount of controversy, which, well, for me and a lot of other people, is a very stupid thing. Now, I'm going to be reading the GameSpot article because it's a pretty good one. So people are basically complaining about this white phosphorus kill streak being in Modern Warfare. They're saying that it's a cruel thing in real life because white phosphorus has been used on civilian targets in the Middle East. They're saying that the chemical is too harsh because, you know, it's a chemical weapon, it's got too much power, you know, it creates a smoke screen, but it also burns, it melts skin, it can burn through bone, it even reignites, apparently. I don't know. It's some bad stuff. I understand. The thing is that pretty much everything in war is bad. You can do a lot of really bad things in war. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the article and talk about it. So, Infinity Ward released a heap of new details about Call of Duty Modern Warfare's multiplayer mode this week, both on live stream and to journalists at a hands-on press event in Los Angeles. These details included some of the game's new kill streak awards, which struck up controversy in the days before the announcement when Infinity Ward revealed that white phosphorus is one of the game's weapons that players will have access to in multiplayer. In the real world, white phosphorus is a chemical weapon that has horrific power. The chemical ignites when it interacts with oxygen, creating a thick white smoke screen that can obscure troop movements and disorient soldiers on the battlefield. But white phosphorus also burns extremely hot, which makes the chemical very dangerous. It can melt skin and burn through muscle and even bone. It also is capable of reigniting days or even weeks after its use. So this stuff is pretty bad in real life. I mean, it's not something good to be using on the battlefield. Very deadly stuff, and it is unfortunately used in some very, you know, immoral situations against civilian targets that, yeah. Infinity Ward saw criticism for choosing to allow players to use this against each other in the game. The inclusion of the weapon also seems at odds with their stated goals for its single-player campaign. The studio said it had means for the narrative to be gritty and realistic, exploring morality and gray areas soldiers have to navigate when balancing completing their missions and doing the right thing. Call of Duty games of the past have included weapons in multiplayer that are horrific in the real world, including flamethrowers, napalm, and even nuclear weapons. Art director Joel Emsley pointed out that during an interview with GameSpot that Modern Warfare's multiplayer trailer ended with a nuclear detonation. By the way, the game-ending nuke is back, which is awesome. Nuclear bombs have been kill streak rewards in past Call of Duty games. So none of that just made sense, and here's exactly why. So they tried to say that it didn't make sense because it's at odds with their stated goals for the single-player campaign. Number one, it's not at odds with the campaign because the campaign and the multiplayer are two separate worlds. The campaign is going to be gritty and realistic because it's going to follow that narrative where, you know, you're playing in this realistic, gritty environment where you are exploring that morality and those gray areas that you have to navigate, and you gotta balance the mission and doing the right thing in between, you know, fighting for your life and making all these really hard decisions and stuff. But that isn't anything to do with multiplayer. Multiplayer is just, it's multiplayer. You know, you got all these people on this map. The kill streaks are just toys, basically. That's what they've always been. And the fact that you haven't come to realize that in, you know, 15 years or however long Call of Duty's been around now at this point. It's probably been around longer than that. I mean, it's been around almost since I've been alive, and I'm 19, so I'm just a little bit older than Call of Duty. I think it's like 17 years old, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's kind of ridiculous. It's a video game. You know, it's not real life. Like, you really need to get over yourselves here. It's not that big of a deal. And they keep trying to, you know, get all offended over this and act like it's this really big deal when it's not. And they keep saying that it's downplaying the issue in real life when you make games like this, where, you know, where you make arcade shooters and stuff where you play with these kill streaks and you have fun and you have a good time and stuff. They say that that downplays the issue of what's going on in real life. I think what truly downplays the issue of what happens in real life, you know, with this white phosphorus stuff being used on civilians and even real soldiers and stuff, is that when you get on the internet and you use them almost as like a pawn figure for your like political use against video games, and you use them almost as like a false flag to get offended over video games on the internet, because I mean, be honest with yourself, there's no way you really care this deeply about Call of Duty kill streaks. I mean, I simply refuse to believe that somebody can get that upset over it. You know what I'm saying? And even if you're trying to say this is apparently at odds with that narrative, how is it at odds with the narrative to be using white phosphorus against civilians to explain that gritty, realistic, you know, storyline when that's exactly how it's being used in the real world? I mean, you're complaining that that's what it's being used for in the real world, and then you're complaining that's what it's being used for in the storyline and in the game. You're trying to tell us that it's at odds in the game, so which one is it? You know what I'm saying? You're complaining that it's happening in real life, and then you're complaining that the game's doing it, but then you're saying the game is at odds for doing it because it's not supposed to be doing it. We need a little bit more consistency out of this article here. And yeah, the whole nuclear bomb thing is a really good point. Nuclear bombs have been a kill streak in past Call of Duty games. Where was the outrage? Everyone wants to use white phosphorus, just like very specifically, by the way, which I find weird, as like this moral standpoint almost, as like this one figure to, you know, jump against this game. Why is nobody really mad over the game-ending nuke? I mean, nuclear warheads have been used in combat before. The United States dropped 2 atomic warheads on the Japanese in World War II, killing hundreds of thousands of civilians. I mean, when you called in that TAC nuke in Modern Warfare 2, you know, you didn't see the Japanese screaming and complaining and crying and writing articles about it, at least that I remember. I mean, so far that I've seen, I haven't seen the Japanese complaining and crying about that. And at the end of the day, I mean, any of these kill streaks could be used immorally in real life. I mean, the gunship, you know, you could use that to mow down civilians. The AC-130 from, you know, all these Call of Duty games, those have been, you know, you can go on YouTube right now and look up probably thousands of videos of the U.S. Army mowing civilians down in the Middle East from the last decade with AC-130s. It's happened. Unfortunately, war is a very cruel thing, and that's exactly what this game is about to portray in the story. You would think that these people would be happy about that, because for once Call of Duty is not portraying war as some, you know, La La Land where the soldier runs through and just mows through hundreds of people while eating bullets like they're candy. They're finally portraying war where civilians, you know, face just unspeakable tragedies, and you have to play from the civilian standpoint, and you have to see that from their eyes, and you have to actually see things from people's eyes, and you have to live through these tragedies from their perspective. But no, that's not good enough, because when you're playing in multiplayer and everything's more of an arcade experience now, and it's more fun-driven, and the game's not taking itself as seriously now, and it's actually, you know, a video game where you're playing for enjoyment, it's not telling you a message now, you know, now you can use white phosphorus and nuclear bombs to have fun. And the thing is I don't understand why these people are complaining, because I know for a fact these people who are complaining are not going to be playing the game when it comes out. Like myself, I was already pretty sold on the game anyways. I mean, I play Call of Duty pretty much every year. I haven't played a lot of Black Ops 4 in the last few months. Not a huge fan of that game anymore, honestly. But, you know, some here and there, some League play with my friends. That's about the farthest I'll go, but I'm pretty sold on Modern Warfare. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it, and, you know, I will be playing this game. And that's what I don't understand, because these journalists, they get to play these games early and stuff for some reason, and I know why they do, because, I mean, they go and write about them and do reviews and stuff, and, you know, they complain about the kill streaks and cry and complain about how offensive the game was, and about how traumatized they were, and how upsetting it was, and it's ridiculous, but, I mean, if you don't like the kill streaks in the game, just don't play the game, because, you know, you're not gonna force this kill streak out of the game. You're not going to get people to stop playing this game. It's Call of Duty. It's going to be the #1 selling game this year, most likely. It's going to be like that, Borderlands 3. There's probably some other games I'm thinking of, or I'm not thinking of. It's pretty early in the morning. It's definitely going to be up there. Call of Duty's up there every single year. But at the end of the day, if you really care about this issue, stop writing stupid articles like this and actually start, focusing on the issue you care about. If you really care about white phosphorus usage in real life, stop complaining about it being used in a video game and actually start taking strides and steps to, stop its usage in real life and stop, crying about a video game using it as a kill streak, because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's a video game. This game has been surrounded by a lot of really big non-issues. I've noticed that. It's kind of crazy, honestly, but that's my thoughts on this whole thing. I know a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this. I've been kind of avoiding it because I thought it would just kind of, go away, but it hasn't, so there you go. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel, follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously, and until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, offended over kill streaks in Modern Warfare, and signing out.